We all remember the Intel drama around 2023 and 2024, where seemingly everyone and their mom was talking about the Intel instability issues. Intel did a lot of back and forth with motherboard vendors trying to fix the issue, but now they settled on a solution that works, but costs you a lot of performance. Now that DDR5 became so expensive, many gamers that needed a high-end CPU with DDR4 support picked up a Raptor Lake i7 or i9 based on reviews and performance metrics done years ago. In today's video, we will test the performance impact of Intel's fixes, and during just a few minutes in the BIOS, we will aim to restore the missing performance you paid for. On screen right now, you see the setup used. There's just a small deviation from the true performance back then. I used Intel's stock 253 watt power limit for comparison reasons, since it doesn't really make sense to test at 350 watts, which your setup most likely wouldn't even be able to cool anyways. Today we are going to test the performance in the following games and applications. We have James Bond 007 First Light, Silent Hill F, CS2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Cinebench R23 Multicore. Let's just jump straight into James Bond, one of the newer AAA titles released this year. Next up is Silent Hill F from 2025. Now we got 2023's Counter-Strike 2. Let's go over to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 from 2022. Up last for our games, we have 2017's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. To finish it up, let's do a Cinebench. Now that you've seen the performance impact, let's fix it. But before we do this, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to join the Yapping OC Discord, first link in the description. So, while the PC is starting up, you just spam the delete key, and you can see we instantly booted into BIOS. If you've never been in the BIOS, this will most likely look like this if you have MSI. The default settings, like this page and everything I'm going to show you, will look different depending on your motherboard vendor. I sadly only have a MSI board here right now, otherwise I would show it for like Asus and the other vendors. Don't have this. What I recommend is searching online if the settings are called differently, or where you will find it, but it's just like 3 or 4 settings, so it's very easy. But if you have MSI, you can just follow along. This will look the same for you. What they basically did, they destroyed the performance on this Intel default settings by having your processor clock down to like 5.2, 5.3 gigahertz while at normal gaming load. And we're going to fix that today without like risking degradation again. What we are going to do first is, if you hear easy mode, you need to select advanced mode on every BIOS. Then go to settings, and you can see here on save and exit, restore defaults. This will basically reset everything done in the BIOS to the default. But what we are going to do now is we are going to go to P-core ratio apply mode and select turbo ratio. And this basically sets the turbo up to how high of a clock your CPU can turbo to. And the turbo is a boosting algorithm, so it checks if your temperature, if your amp limit is reached. That doesn't mean your processor is running at that speed, it just means it turbos up to it. So in the best case scenario, we need to go here and select numbers of P-core ratio group 1 and set it to 8, because you have 8 P-cores and we want to change all of them at once. If you don't have this setting, you just need to type the next thing in every box, and we're going to type 5.7. And CPU tuning will be switched to MSI Unlimited settings. That's true, we need to do that as well. Just select OK. What 5.7 means, this is a multiplier. So the 57 means 57 times the base clock, and the base clock is always 100. 57 times 100 is 5700, and that means 5.7 gigahertz. After that, we're going to pair P-core ratio limit, select manual, and just you will have two favorite cores. You can see some of them say 60. These are the favorite cores that Intel used for advertising, so they are selling a 6 GHz processor. This is basically never used. They clock to 6 GHz at idle and just bump up the voltage. And Intel basically made it impossible to get these 6 GHz with the newer BIOS updates. So what we need to do is just disable them by typing 57 in the two cores that are selected as favorite. If you have a i9, if you have a i7, for example, or you have a 4900KS or 3900KS, you just need to type the turbo boost thing of your processor. I will put it on screen what you need to type depending for your processor. Then we have extreme memory profile XMP. We need to enable that, of course. Now we are at the CPU voltage monitor stuff. And CPU core voltage mode, if you set that to adaptive plus advanced offset mode, you can go here and type advanced offset, and you have these VF points. Basically, your processor is infused with the so-called voltage frequency curve. That's VF curve. And this means, depending on how high the processor is clocking, it will change the voltage for it. So we can see the X58 means 58 times the base clock, so 5.8 GHz. And since we set 5.7 for our processor, we're going to pick the two things where 5.7 lays. It's in the middle of 5.8 and 5.6. So this will actually undervolt your processor a bit. Depending on how good your silicon is, you can type way more or you can type way less. For example, negative 0.05 means minus 50 millivolts. And you can leave the other ones at auto. The only way where I would change the other ones is if you're clocking below 5.6 gigahertz when running like a high power draw thing, like benchmark. You can go here and select like minus and put some value in here, but this should be it. If you have any instability issues, you can just go 10 millivolts up, and if you have no instability issues, you can go 10 millivolts lower. And the reason why I'm saying lower is because the higher value you put here, you can see it subtracts. So this subtracts basically 60 millivolts from the voltage frequency curve. Let's go back, and what we are going to do now is scroll up again and select advanced CPU configuration. And since we selected the MSI unlimited profile, we need to type the power limit again, which is 253, so 553 watts. And you need to type that for short duration and for long duration. This is basically the default spec of Intel, and this is also what caused a lot of degradation on the back in the days, because Intel didn't enforce the default profile to be Intel's default. So the BIOS manufacturers like Asus and MSI just set the MSI Unlimited profile as a default. So if you're rendering a video, your processor would just be pegged 200 degrees and just draw like 350, 320 watts at a lot of voltage. And that's actually what causes the degradation. It's a phenomenon called electromigration. And in electromigration, three things are relevant. It's a factor of temperature, voltage, and amp. And voltage times amp, or amp times voltage, is always the wattage. So if you have 253 watts at 1 volt, you have 253 amps drawn. And that's why we want to keep our processor as cool as possible, and also don't want it to just draw a lot of power and be pegged 200 degrees all the time, because that will significantly increase the electromigration. The last thing I want to talk about is this. This is called TVB ratio clipping and TVB voltage optimizations. TVB ratio clipping basically downclocks your processor even before it reaches the 100 degrees package temperature. CPU over temperature protection and fast throttle threshold is 100 degrees. This is when your processor should start throttling. And TVB ratio clipping cuts off if you have your processor at like below 70 degrees, it boosts to 5.7, and after that gradually starts downclocking depending on how hot your processor is. You can try disable that. This will grant you your full boost up to 100 degrees. The problem with that is that increases degradation slightly, because you will run the processor at higher temperatures, because the downclocking saves it from getting hotter and hotter. But if you have like very poor cooling and you cannot get like the default clocks, this is the reason. But I will leave it at auto. And then you have this is called TVB Voltage Optimizations. What this does is basically undervolt your processor. There's a good video by a scatterbencher about it that I will link in the description. If you're doing any kind of manual overclocking or manual voltage tuning like you did undervolting, I would always disable this, because this completely destroys your ability to stability test anything. Because when you stability test something, you want to replicate the same scenario, like you want to play the same game, do like shader compiling and see if it crashes. But if just like your room temperature got like 10 degrees colder because you're testing it in the evening and not in the middle of the day, then this can mean the difference if your processor is crashing or not, if it's summer or winter. So you should always disable this if you do any kind of voltage tuning. But the default is of course auto, and auto is enabled. What you need to do now is select the X in the top and press yes. So what you will see there is all the settings that we did. You can ignore all the RAM things. These are just so I can imitate the 7200 RAM, because I just have 6400 RAM, but I can clock it up way higher. This is just like imitating basically as if I had XMP RAM at that speed. And now if you press yes, your PC will restart. It might take a little longer to start since it's doing the memory retraining again. But you should boot into BIOS. If you can't boot, like if you have problems booting, then your undervolt isn't stable. Like basically, if you have crashes in like gaming or while shader compiling, you're like 10-15 millivolts off of something that's stable. But if you can't even boot at the settings that you set, like if you set like minus 500 millivolts, then of course it won't boot. Then you need to lower it by a lot. And as you can see, it boots up like normal. Don't worry about the poor resolution. This is just because if I install the AMD driver, this breaks the capture card, so I actually don't have a driver installed. If you go into HW info, you can see the clocks are all normal. If they like flicker, go to power plan, power options, and select the high performance power plan. But the default should be balanced, and you should always leave it at balanced in my opinion. Balanced. And now you can see I have this measurement thing. This is called VR out. If you don't have this, you need to check. This is the closest thing. If you don't have VR out, which is only on like higher end main boards, you need to check this vCore. This is the closest that you can have to the real VR out. And now you can see this is clocking at 5.7 gigahertz at idle. This is working completely fine. You can see it downclocks, it chills, and we have around 1.2, 0.8 volts in vCore. And you can see this is absolutely chilling. There's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing degrading at like 0.8 volt and 30 degrees.